Let's get some reaction here. We just heard from the Federal Open Market Committee, unchanged, and the vote was 10-2. Your thoughts?
Hello, Nicole. Yeah, 2 hours left in the trading day. We get our decision that we pretty much expected on two dissenters, Stephen Myron and Christopher Waller, who preferred to lower the target range for the Fed funds rate by 0.25%. So those were the two that dissented. It was Jerome Powell, John Williams, Michael Barr, Michelle Bowman, Lisa Cook, Beth Hammack, Philip Jefferson, Neil Kashkari, Lori Logan, and Anna Paulson all voting to hold. So now it comes to the all-important press conference. And Jerome Powell is going to get asked a lot of questions that he may dodge, but he's going to have to give a look at what he thinks about the economy. Is it going to be two rates? Is he going to lean a bit dovish, lean for two rates or possibly more? Is he going to talk about the relationship between unemployment and inflation? Is he going to mention tariffs? All these things are going to be topics. The Q&A should be wide-ranging. It could talk about his career. It could talk about Lisa Cook. There's a lot of things that can be mentioned here in this press conference. I think it's going to be one you want to watch, Nicole.
Look, I mean, when you talk about what's the Fed's mandate, right? As you said, it's full employment and price stability. When it comes to unemployment or full employment, he said that unemployment rate has shown some signs of stabilization, right? So that is meaning that we're not suffering in the labor market. We don't need a cut right now. And then the other thing that he noted was that inflation remains somewhat elevated, and that's always a concern. Is there inflation? And if they think there's going to be inflation, they're not going to cut. So at this point here, not surprised to know that it was Waller and Myron. Myron could have gone for 50. I mean, he sort of went to 25. Yes. He was a 50 guy most recently, right? Now he went to 25. Waller is the name that has already been confirmed by the Senate. If they choose him, if President Trump chooses him to lead the Fed, it'll be very interesting because then the Senate cannot reject him so easily. Right? They may reject somebody else like Stephen Myron, but they wouldn't, he's not even on the, in the ballot, like Rick Reeder, okay? But Waller, they've already confirmed him. So it'd be a little strange if they rejected him afterwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think, but we're waiting for President Trump. Does he wait till after this meeting to make the announcement? Maybe that's what we're waiting for here. But I think Jerome Powell is going to talk about some of the topics. I think he'll dodge or not answer a lot of the topics about his future and all the lawsuits and things like that in the Department of Justice, Lisa Cook. There's going to be a lot of questions that don't have anything to do with the U.S. economy and lowering interest rates. So that could really distract this market the overall market from what we're about to hear in the press conference. I think it's going to be one that it'll be difficult for Jerome Powell to stay on topic today because the questions are going to be all over the board, Nicole.
I think he's going to speak very slowly in Fed speak. I mean, as he knows so well how to do. The Fed cut rates 3 times last year, and now the likelihood of cuts this year. And it was my last check that they said people were thinking June and December, especially once you have the new Fed chair in place, you're likely to get a cut. Right? Don't you think that seems to be the talk on Wall Street?
I would agree with that. I think Jerome Powell has lowered rates for the final time as he is chairman of the Fed. I think the next cut will probably be the next Fed chair. I think that's accurate. And the probabilities show that, right? Now, that could change, as you know. Also, he could talk, here's another topic he could talk about, the balance sheet. And are they buying securities and how much are they buying and what are they doing with those? So, listen, I think there's so many topics. The market pretty much unchanged from where it was. I had the S&P down 0.09. That's what it just ticked to right now as I'm speaking. So the markets really haven't moved. I think once we get past this, the real attention of the markets will turn to earnings after the bell, and Meta, Microsoft, and Tesla will have earnings after the bell. Those will be big news. That'll really drive the market, overnight and tomorrow.
and Apple on Thursday. You're absolutely right. It was interesting. I spoke to Jay Woods earlier, and I was asking him about 7,000, how exciting it was. We hit a record today, and he said, look, I feel like the market is really having a top formation here, and I really need to see more from these earnings to make me feel that confident that we break through and out. So he's on more of this wait and see type of mode. We do see that the Fed kept their rates unchanged. Let's see, reaffirms the statement on the long run, monetary policy strategy, 10 to 2. We got that. All right, look, we got everything that it seems that has come out thus far. Great job, Kevin Hincks. Thank you.